Good evening, Belize. It's Monday and you're watching News 5. I'm Jamie Rock. Tonight, new charges in a retaliatory murder. Police moved swiftly, charging Lewin Link in the killing of Clinton Poe. Investigators calling it a deadly act of revenge. Out west, gunfire in Georgeville. A police sergeant shot amid what sources describe as a simmering land dispute. In Punta Gorda, tragedy on the shoreline. A 3-year-old boy wanders away from his siblings and drowns in the sea. Plus, political pressure in Belmopan. The 2026 national budget faces heavy scrutiny as global shocks led by surging oil prices threaten to squeeze households and government spending alike. And later, Henri, the conflict Jaguar once released back into the wild, is captured again after preying on livestock in Lebanon. All that and more, News 5 starts now.
Putting up the gyms to see exciting NEBL games. And this weekend, Week 5 showcase 3 mega matchups. On Friday night, the Belize City Defenders try to keep the Corozal Spartans winless with a must-win game to stay in the hunt. Civic Center. Then on Saturday night, another mega showdown at the Belize Civic Center as the number 2 team, the Fighting Tiger Sharks, goes up against the rough and tough Dan Grigga Dream Ballers in a war. And in Cayo at the Victor Galvez Stadium, who run the West as the rolling Cayo Western Ballers goes up against the Belmopan Trojans. The NEBL girls giveaways along with the National Sports Council halftime $5,000 shooting challenge. So this weekend, make it another NEBL weekend, sponsored by the Government of Belize.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. We begin tonight with breaking news out west, where a police officer was shot this afternoon while responding to a land dispute in the Maya Ranch area of Georgeville. News 5 has confirmed that the injured officer is Sergeant Daylon Kelly. According to early reports, Sergeant Kelly and a team of officers headed out just after 3:30 this afternoon to check on a disturbance along the road to Mountain Pine Ridge, an area where residents tell us that tensions over land have been simmering for quite some time. But that situation took a sudden and violent turn. While officers were on the scene, Sergeant Kelly was shot in the abdomen. He was rushed to the Western Regional Hospital, where he remains in stable condition tonight and is receiving treatment. Police have since detained one man and recovered a 9mm pistol, which investigators believed was used in the shooting. That individual is now in custody as the investigation moves forward. Residents in the area say disputes over land in Maya Ranch have been building for months, but today's shooting marks a dangerous escalation, one that hits especially hard because it involves a police officer responding to a disturbance. For now, police say their investigation is ongoing and will continue following this developing story as more details become available. Police have made a major breakthrough in the murder investigation of Clinton Poe, the Belize City resident who was gunned down on Thursday in what investigators now believe was a retaliatory attack. Today, authorities confirmed that 21-year-old Lewin Link has been formally charged with Poe's murder, along with several additional offenses stemming from the shooting. Investigators say Link was allegedly acting alongside Ryan Barnett, the suspect who was fatally shot by police during a pursuit shortly after the incident. Police now believe the killing may be connected to the earlier murder of Edward Scrubby Saldano, suggesting the violence may have been part of an ongoing feud. Police say their investigation is still active as they continue reviewing evidence and statements in the case. Assistant Superintendent Stacey Smith explains where the investigation stands tonight.
As a consequence of police's ongoing investigation into the shooting incident which claimed the life of Clinton Poe, Police have formally arrested and charged 21-year-old Llewellyn Link, a Belizean of a Belize district address, for the crime of murder. Link was additionally charged for the crime of attempted murder, use of deadly means of harms, and dangerous harm in relation to Kiandra Pau. The angle that is being pursued is in relation to the shooting incident, the murder of Mr. Saldano.
Someone died, a suspect.
Yes, please.
He was found to be working with that individual.
Yes, it's a matter of joint enterprise.
And are there others being sought?
No other person is being sought at this moment. However, the investigation continues.
Were you able to retrieve the firearm?
Not to my knowledge.
And are you able to say if there was any footage around that area that assisted police?
I do believe so, and those are being reviewed.
Gun violence has once again shattered the calm in Belize City. A 24-year-old cook is recovering tonight after he was hit during a burst of gunfire that tore through Farbers Road on what should have been a quiet Sunday evening. Residents say that more than a dozen shots rang out near Grace Primary School, sending people running for cover as gunmen on motorcycles opened fire and one of the targets shot back. When it was over, Eric Mahler was rushed to the KHMH with gunshot injuries, and all of this played out just a few hundred yards from the police precinct. Tonight, ASP Stacey Smith says investigators are already reviewing surveillance footage to track down those responsible. Here's what we know so far.
Police are investigating a shooting incident which resulted in the injury of Eric Mahler, a 24-year-old Belizean of a Farbers Road Extension address. The investigation commenced on Sunday, 15 March 2026 at approximately 6:45 p.m. when officers were alerted to the sounds of shots being fired on Farbers Road. Police responded where they observed some expended shells on the scene, and they later visited the Carl Hushner Memorial Hospital where they spoke with Mr. Mahler. Surveillance footage has been obtained and are being reviewed, and as additional progress are made in this investigation, the media will be advised.
Can you say if a licensed gun owner responded with fire?
I do not have that information with me.
And was Mr. Mahler involved in the shooting as one of the shooting suspects?
It is an ongoing investigation, as I stated. As more details become known, that will be shared with the media.
Residents are concerned about possible retaliation because the feuding men live in close proximity to each other. Tonight, a mystery at sea is finally getting some clarity. Authorities found 72-year-old Canadian sailor Thomas David Harmon dead aboard his drifting catamaran, raising all kinds of questions about what went wrong out on the water. Now, police say the postmortem points to a fall from height, an accident that may explain why the vessel was left adrift. What's still unknown is whether anything or anyone contributed to that fall. Acting on the results, Belizean investigators are handing the next steps to Canadian authorities, who will decide if foul play needs to be ruled out.
The body of Mr. Harmon underwent an autopsy examination where at the conclusion the finding was that he died as a consequence of multiple blunt force traumatic injuries due to a fall from height.
No foul play is suspected then.
As stated, the conclusion of the pathologist is that he fell from a height, and the circumstances are such that he was on board a boat. So I don't know if it is that the assumption would be somebody would have been up on the sail with him, because that is the suggestion that has been given. However, as I would have indicated on the last occasion, this is not a matter that falls within Belize's jurisdiction. Nonetheless, we have done our due diligence due diligence in terms of securing and processing the scene and obtaining relevant evidential material should the persons who have jurisdiction, which would be the flagship or the country for which Mr. Harman is a national, that we are able to competently provide them with that information for them to carry further investigation if they believe that foul play is involved.
Investigators have done their part in Belize, and it's now up to Canadian officials to determine if Harman's fall was accidental or warrants a deeper probe. Turning now to a heartbreaking story out of Punta Gorda, where a 3-year-old boy, little Asher Mejia, lost his life after wandering away from home and later being found in the sea near St. Peter Claver School. His family realized something was wrong when Asher didn't return with his siblings, who had only gone to a nearby store. They searched desperately before making the tragic discovery. Police say Asher was rushed to the hospital, but doctors couldn't save him. Tonight, investigators are still piecing together what exactly happened and how the toddler ended up in the water. Police Staff Officer Assistant Superintendent Stacey Smith tells us what they know so far.
Punta Gorda police were advised of the presence of a young minor, namely 3-year-old Asher Mejia, who had suffered from a drowning incident near the St. Peter Claver School in that town. Police responded and they ferried the young Mr. Mejia to the hospital, where he was later pronounced dead. Initial investigation suggests that sometime around 11 a.m., Mejia is believed to have left his residence, and his parents was of the view that he had accompanied siblings of his to a nearby store to purchase snacks. It was only when those siblings returned and Mejia was not along with him that they were aware of his disappearance. Efforts were made to discover him, and that concluded when he was found in the sea in the aforementioned area. I think some 3 years prior, his parents would have visited the Punta Gorda police station and reported him missing after their efforts to locate him proved futile. However, shortly after that, he was located, I believe, in a little dark house in a neighbor's property. The parents suggested that given on this occasion that he had done something similar in the past, they had not reported it immediately, and this is the result.
In the wake of that tragedy, police are urging the public to act. 3-year-old Asher Mejia is now the 3rd young child to lose his life this way in just over a year. In 2024, 6-year-old King Shaquille Wade drowned in South Creek Canal while in a babysitter's care. Then in February 2025, cameras captured 6-year-old Gabriel Oriano running alone before he was later found dead in the sea behind hangar. Police say the pattern is alarming and want residents to intervene when they see very young children roaming alone. Asked whether Asher's parents may face charges, Assistant Superintendent Stacey Smith says that's up to the DPP, but she stresses the wider community also bears responsibility in preventing tragedies like these.
We have recorded statements, and those statements will be forwarded to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution for their guidance. What I will comment on is that the area where the child was found is reported to be some 1 mile away from his home. So this suggests that there was, for a considerable period of time, this child walking on the street, and that for me presented an opportunity for persons to have intercepted him and done the needful. This is not the first instance. I could recall with much regret the instance with baby Oriana from Stella Maris, where he was seen on the street, and again persons did not intercede. I know Easter is coming up shortly, and there will be more children who will be at home, and though we encourage parents to certainly improve their supervision, there is also a role for those in society to play when these incidents happen and they observe these very young children or these children with diverse abilities on the street and without proper supervision.
Police say community action can prevent tragedies like this, even as they await guidance from the DPP. It appears the Joseph Budna saga isn't over just yet. After months of silence, the case is suddenly back on the front burner, not because of anything Budna has done, but because of what Belize is now preparing to do. Budna has been sitting in a Guatemalan prison since his abduction and handover at Arenal last August. But Prime Minister John Bersenio has revealed that his government is taking a new diplomatic step. Belize is getting ready to formally ask Guatemala to send Budna back home so he can finish serving his sentence here. It's the first public update in months.
I think on the Budna issue, I'm going to come into cabinet. I've been discussing it with a few ministers is to see if from government to ask for Budna to be returned to Belize or to go to jail. We do that with Mexico from time to time. We have prisoner exchanges, but the agreement is that you have to spend the time in jail. You know how much years he has left in his case over there. So if he has 10 more years, for instance, we will give an assurances to the government of Guatemala that he will spend the time in jail here, so to bring him back.
It's a significant development in a case that raised serious questions about cross-border law enforcement actions, and now the ball is back in the government's court. Coming up, big promises hit a big roadblock. As the government's payroll keeps ballooning, infrastructure projects are the ones feeling the squeeze, while development is taking a backseat.
Currently, the school provides meals to 1,000 students. The way it is organized is that each vendor provides 110 meals and they have specific classes. We see multiple benefits of the EOP program here, as it provides a healthy meal to our students and it also improves their ability to learn.
There are many students who were unable to purchase a meal, a snack during break, and I've noticed that due to the fact that this program came into place, they're able to enjoy a meal and it's a healthy meal, and I noticed that in a classroom they are more productive in terms of their schoolwork.
They didn't have to go look for money every day, because my mom would, every day she would spend like $6 or more on my lunch.
All the youths here at Holantra Technical High School, most of them come to school without money, without anything at all to eat. With this upliftment program, the feeding program especially, it helped them a lot, you know, with their hunger.
On a hunger stomach, it's a bit challenging to focus on work. So with this free food, it really helps.
Well, it helped my parents a lot too, and me too, because like it saves money for like something in the future, that like for emergency and stuff. Because like we don't buy food every day again because of the feeding program. So I'm really thankful for that.
Your Belize City Council, in collaboration with the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing, would like to update residents on the temporary traffic adjustments that will accompany the upcoming bridge infrastructure upgrades across our city. These major works, running through the 2026 to 2029 period, include the reconstruction of the Belcan Bridge and the Swing Bridge to improve long-term safety and city mobility. To help residents move safely and efficiently, here is the proposed flow of traffic. If you are coming into Belize City from the Philip Colson Highway, drivers are strongly encouraged to use the Chetumal Street Bridge as your main access route. This corridor is designated for highway traffic and heavy vehicles to reduce congestion in Midtown and downtown areas. If you are traveling toward the school zone along Princess Margaret Drive, this area remains accessible directly from the Philip Colson Highway. When traveling south to north through the Belcan Bridge area, traffic will flow one way only over the Evergreen Street Temporary Bridge crossing. Drivers should follow Central American Boulevard to Mahogany Street, continue onto Evergreen Street, and proceed to Philip Colson Highway, then toward Freetown Road. If you are traveling north to south toward downtown, make use of the temporary crossings from Hydes Lane. Traffic will flow one way from Queen Street to New Road into Hydes Lane, then through Regent Street West. Please note that the temporary crossings are designated to accommodate standard-sized vehicles and buses only. Heavy trucks and oversized vehicles will not be permitted to use this route and are advised to use the Chetumal Street Bridge or Bell China Bridge. Both the Bell China Bridge and Chetumal Street Bridge will remain open for two-way traffic and will serve as important relief routes for all commuters, including emergency access across the city. Residents should also plan travel carefully around peak congestion periods. Traffic is expected to be extremely busy between 6:30 to 8:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m. and 1:30 p.m., and 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Whenever possible, adjust travel times to avoid these peak windows. Parking restrictions along Evergreen Street and Hydes Lane will be in place to keep traffic flowing safely. Please follow all traffic signs and guidance from traffic officers. We understand that these adjustments will require patience. However, these temporary measures are necessary to deliver safer, stronger, and more resilient infrastructure for Belize City's future. Together, we will navigate this transition and build a better connected city. Your Belize City Council, always about the people.
Every connection we make is more than just a signal. It's a student unlocking a future through digital education. A young mind daring to dream bigger. Our culture shared with the world in real time. And everyday heroes answering the call of civic duty. When we connect with Digi, we empower Belize.
What happens when you step off the edge?
Too late to back out now. He said I'm ready. No, I'm not.
And land somewhere unexpected. Sometimes it breaks you open. Wild at root?
That is very bitter.
But sweet on the tongue. Where history calls out, and you answer with open arms. This isn't just a journey. It's across borders.
That was amazing!
Kayo, we have exciting news for you. RFNG Life Insurance is now officially in your town. Now, you can visit our office to pay your life insurance premiums or speak to our dedicated agent, Mayeli, about securing your future with the right coverage.
Hi, my name is Mayeli Hoy, your designated agent here at RFNG Life in the Kayo District. I'm here to help you explore your options, answer your questions, and find the perfect policy for you and your loved ones.
Whether you're looking for life insurance, critical illness coverage, or future saving plans, we've got you covered. Take the first step towards securing a stable and prosperous financial future for you and your family. RFNG Life Insurance, now in Kayo. Visit us today or call to schedule an appointment. Your future starts here.
Tonight, the Briceño administration's record-setting $1.9 billion budget is under renewed scrutiny as global economic tensions intensify, with fuel prices climbing and the war in Iran sending fresh shockwaves through international markets. Belize's financial stability and the cost of everyday living may be facing greater risks than anticipated. Paul Lopez reports.
When global crises flare, small economies feel it first. Belize's $1.9 billion budget is already tight, and now market jitters and escalating conflict in Iran are raising new red flags. Economist Dr. Philip Castillo weighs in on how these global shocks could squeeze households and government plans alike.
Any projected figure, any single projected figure as mentioned by the Prime Minister has to be revised in light of the Iran war.
That's even the expenditure, the $1.9 billion in expenditure?
I would argue that yes.
At the fuel pumps, prices have climbed, and that jump is sparking fresh debate about how government manages its money. For years, successive administrations have leaned heavily on fuel taxes to keep national spending afloat. Now, with every increase at the pump, more Belizeans are asking whether that model still makes sense and what it means for their wallets moving forward.
There's so much that we want to do. And the only way we can be able to provide the goods and services to our people is by collecting taxes. For instance, we've been expanding the free education to all students in government high schools.
I know that fuel is one of the major sources of revenues to any government of Belize. Fuel is by far the largest revenue source to any government. Now, what happens is that the government is generally has to thread a thin line, because when fuel prices go up, governments benefit because their tax intake also increases. But then, as those prices work their way through the economy, the broader macroeconomy is impacted also.
That means that the increasing cost of fuel will likely influence Belize's total economic performance, from GDP growth to inflation, employment, and international trade. And due to the level of global uncertainty, there is no telling when rising fuel prices will see an ease.
So what Belizeans ought to be doing then is conserving as much as possible. From that perspective, I see benefits in the national bus system, because an efficient, effective transport system will provide incentives to Belizeans to want to take that bus or take the public transport system and could leave their vehicles at home. So there are benefits in that regard. Other things such as if you have a personal car, you may want to travel less because the cost of traveling has increased.
Fuel prices are up again and Belizeans want relief. But the record high budget leans hard on fuel taxes to pay salaries, pensions, loans, and big infrastructure plans. Cutting those taxes now would blow a hole in the Briceño administration's 2026 goals. Economist Romil Arana says people might hate paying taxes, but the bigger picture matters.
Although people don't like it, we have the services that the government provides, the police and all of that, everything, the health care, which is free for a lot of people, the education, which is being pushed out as there more of our Belizean populace is getting free education right now. You know, it does make a difference. There's three parts to every price. There's the import prices, there's the government tax, and there is the profits made by the businesses that are selling the gasoline. So if there is an expansion in any one of those, then there is going to be an increase in terms of the prices at the pump.
Government is still deciding what to do, but Belizeans are already feeling the squeeze at the pump and across the economy. With global instability lingering, meeting those 2026 targets won't be easy. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
There's a growing worry tonight that Belize's budget is being eaten from the inside out. More and more of government's money is going straight into wages, salaries, and pensions, leaving less for classrooms, clinics, and the kind of infrastructure that actually moves the country forward. Economist Dr. Philip Castillo says this heavy tilt towards recurrent spending is squeezing out the investments Belize needs to grow.
You obviously want your capital spending to be more, because capital spending means you're spending on schools and hospitals and roads and bridges, and that provides the infrastructure for future development. The challenge has been that governments of Belize generally spend substantially more on recurrent, and by recurrent you mean wages and salaries and pensions, etc., which always takes up the lion's share of any government's budget. You want the shift to occur. You certainly want more capital spending to occur, but you want that to occur in meaningful ways and in ways that will make an impact in subsequent years.
How sustainable, in your view, is that recurrent expenditure on wages and pensions? It represents almost 60% of the budget, or 45 cents on every tax dollar collected.
Well, obviously, it's unsustainable. I'm certain that past governments have said the same thing, and then they arrive in office and they find it to be unsustainable. It's unsustainable. We need the political will and all parties to come together to meaningfully reduce the current level of recurrent expenditures, specifically where wages and salaries are concerned, and pensions.
Meanwhile, Dr. Philip Castillo argues that real reform can't wait, and it starts with moving toward contributory pensions. He says government, unions, and public officers need to sit at the same table if Belize wants a system that can actually hold up in the long run. And all of this comes as public officers prepare for another pay bump, a 4% salary increase this year, on top of 4.5% they received in 2025. So what does this mean for the country's financial future?
Where pensions are concerned, a step in the right direction would be for contributory pensions. And that is where government and stakeholders, including the unions, need to come together to see a more sustainable way forward.
And along the same vein, at the same time, public officers are set to receive another 4% salary increase following last year's 4.5%. So is it then your view that we're not headed in the right direction?
Well, public officers deserve every cent increase that they get. I was a public officer, and I fully support the increases, especially in the context in which they were given. You'd have to, again, governments and the unions have to find ways of increasing the size of the pie. The pie can be increased. I am aware that there was a committee looking at revenue enhancement and cost savings. To the extent that that committee has become dormant, you want to revive that committee, that you want to look at ways a small developing economy such as Belize want to involve its public officers in a way that they could identify ways how revenues can be increased, how savings can be effected, and then all benefit.
After the break, Anwar is back in custody, but what comes next? Tonight, why Belize still has no clear plan for handling its conflict Jaguars. But first, here's tonight's weather forecast.
This is our first year under the program, and we have received basically the free tuition, uniforms for first form, 3 uniforms per child, and also the PE uniform. The other students from 2nd to 4th, they receive the free tuition.
As students, now we feel much more better that we know that there's someone that's thinking about us, right? That they want to see us do better, and so they're giving us resources to pursue whatever we want to pursue.
Yes, I do feel more excited about school as it has been more easier to focus in classes. I'm more at ease during my study time, during pre-test or everything. It's easier to actually get things done.
These kinds of projects will only try to improve and better these chances of the students to be productive citizens of Belize.
We are the future of Belize,
and empowering youths is what we need most right now, having faith in them.
What's causing the increase in fuel prices in Belize and worldwide? The Iran war, of course.
Oil prices shot back up to over $100 a barrel as Iran focuses more of its attacks on fuel.
Over $100 per barrel is more than 67% increase from the $60 per barrel just 2 months ago. How much has gas price increased at the pump in Belize? By $1.23 per gallon, which is only by 10%. How does this compare to increases in the United States?
As Americans feel the pain at the pump, the national average for gas now $3.67, up 73 cents since the war began.
73 cents US would be $1.46 Belize. So the increase in Belize is 23 cents less or 15% less than the average increase in the US, which is 25%. The war is driving up fuel prices everywhere, including Belize. And as the numbers show, the increase is steeper in the US than Belize.
When the job demands more, Milwaukee Power Tools are designed to handle the toughest jobs on the construction site. If it's speed, durability, and performance you need, Milwaukee is the perfect choice. For unstoppable power at an unbeatable price, make it Milwaukee. Nothing but heavy duty. Available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Are you a forward-thinking farmer ready to adopt climate-smart practices? The future of farming is resilient, sustainable, and profitable, and we're here to help you achieve just that. Whether cultivating half an acre or 200 acres, DFC offers affordable financing options and a matching grant up to $12,000 for Window 1 and up to $60,000 for Window 2 to help make your farm climate smart, withstand unpredictable weather patterns, and adapt practices that enhance productivity and efficiency. This program is ideal for farmers and cooperatives. Women farmers are highly encouraged to take advantage. Join us in creating a resilient and sustainable agricultural future for Belize. Apply now and take the next step towards a stronger, greener tomorrow.
Smart for everybody. Smart leading everything. Smart give you everything. Smart offer everything. Smart give you everything. North to the east and the south and the west. Smart are the best. Darling, double up my data and give me all the text. In fact, give me a plan for my family. Unlimited calls, so me like it. And Smart make everybody feel happy. Bringing people together, me want it now. Smart got love for everybody. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. More bundles, data plan. Me want my smartphone, internet in my hand. Cause me want my Smart plan. Want it right now. Smart. Stay connected. Stay happy.
I swapped out the water inlet valve and everything is running normally.
Amazing. So what will be the cost?
Oh, for you? There's no cost.
No cost? I'm flattered, but I'm actually married.
Oh no, nothing like that. It's actually part of our 1-year warranty policy.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
Don't worry, it happens all the time.
Really?
No.
Belize's only full-service GE USA dealer. Full service, full warranty, full selection. GE Appliances. Good things for life. Available at Design Depot. All in one place.
4 years, reports piled up while the shoreline washed away. Tonight, officials say the permits are in, the work is underway, and the plan is simple. Cut the risk now and protect the cemetery next. It's the first real government-led effort in Monkey River after families lost homes and memories to the sea. Residents are hopeful and they're also asking what comes next for their livelihoods and the river they depend on. Here's News 5's Isani Cayetano with the following story.
For generations, Monkey River Village has watched the sea creep closer, first nibbling at the shoreline, then swallowing entire yards, homes, and memories. What used to be a sleepy coastal community in southern Belize has slowly become the front line of climate change, with families forced to move inland as the river and sea carve the landscape.
If we do not do anything as a government, this village is going to disappear. And you have no idea how I felt when I looked out in the sea and I see a part of the cemetery out in the water, because I don't know what I would have done if it was my mother's grave that is out there under the water. And I felt a sense of some anger and also despair, because the first thing that come to my mind, why is it that the government has not been able to do something to be able to help this village?
On February 9th, the tide finally turned. After years of warnings and DIY defenses, the government launched a $300,000 shoreline project, the first real, official effort to slow Monkey River's erosion crisis.
I put myself on the peoples of Monkey River's shoes and I started to say, you know what? They are right. They are right simply because who would like to lose their home? They are right because who would want to lose their burial ground and go and visit their loved one swimming in the middle of the sea? I wouldn't want to go and visit my mom at a burial ground that is swimming in the middle of the sea anymore. They are right because the only place that they know as home is Monkey River.
The current intervention, led by government with contractor support, is presented as a rapid natural materials approach meant to blunt incoming energy and stabilize the river-sea interface quickly. First, bollards to tame waves at the river mouth. Next, protect the cemetery the sea is undercutting.
Literally what you see is the sand comes from the river, goes out to sea. The sea was clogged with mud and sand, so the river now pushed the sand out like it used to. One, we have less flooding. We have a lot of drainage on the way to Monkey River. The water is not there, so but as you can see, we moved the sand over. Now nature will walk it down with time. The right thing would have been to load it up and truck it over, and we'd have had this thing full up quickly. It would have looked beautiful. Everything would be filled, but because the funding wasn't there, we now did the rock work, which will now hold the sand at least. If there's more funding, then we can continue moving sand, or put more rocks, which is very much needed.
Tourists bring money, the boats bring trouble. Fast tour runs churn up the river, chew at the banks, and leave fishers and guides fighting mud instead of making a living.
It's beyond geographical boundaries. It is vital to our economy, culture, environment, our livelihood, like I said before. And this is Monkey River. This is where we live. This is what we love.
After years of talk, there's action. Permits approved, crews moving, and a plan that reduces danger now and sees a long-term community-led conservation economy.
The way it works is that it's not something one person can do. It's not something one ministry can do. It's not something one community can do. This transformation is possible when we all work together. When we all put in our part as villagers of Monkey River.
Reporting for News 5, I am Isani Cayetano.
Belizeans are rewriting the rulebook on coastal development, showing that you don't have to bulldoze nature to build something beautiful. This weekend, the World Wildlife Fund celebrated exactly that at the 2025 Mangrove Friendly Development Challenge, where property owners, resorts, and community groups were honored for projects that work with mangroves instead of wiping them out. WWF's Senior Program Officer Nadia Bud says the shift is critical because most of Belize's mangroves sit on private land. That means the future of these natural storm barriers depend largely on the choices of individual landowners. And those choices don't have to be destructive. They can still have something beautiful and functional, Bud said, if they integrate the mangroves into their landscape design rather than clear-cutting and putting up a concrete seawall. And she made a point many coastal residents know too well. Seawalls fail. One strong storm and a concrete barrier can crack or collapse. Mangroves, on the other hand, bend, recover, and keep protecting the shoreline.
So the Mangrove Friendly Development Challenge is a contest that we hold annually to showcase good architectural design or anyone that has taken steps to conserve mangroves on their property. These include people that own resorts and hotels, those that may have created mangrove reserves, for example, and anyone that has really have an interest and implemented different actions to conserve mangroves on the property. There are two categories to the Mangrove Challenge. The first category that looks at aesthetic and creativity. This is where the landowners, hotel owners, resorts, people that develop within the mangrove landscape, but have done it in a very green way where there is limited impact on the mangroves. They've really cleared little bit of mangroves to allow for their development. So thereby fitting their development within the mangrove landscape other than actually significantly altering the mangrove landscape for the development.
Tonight, Belize is taking a major step toward modernizing the way it projects people seeking refuge. The government of Belize, UNHCR, and the Embassy of Japan have teamed up on a new initiative that brings cutting-edge digital tools to the country's asylum system. Backed by more than $600,000 from the government of Japan, the project aims to transform how asylum cases are registered, tracked, and processed, making the system faster, more secure, and better prepared for rising global migration pressures.
This initiative is a result of the strong relationship amongst the government of Belize, the government of Japan, and the United Nations High Commission for Refugees. Though we are here representing institutions, even as individuals, we all believe in justice, responsible governance, and protection for persons who seek safety and stability. I extend sincere appreciation to the government of Japan for its generous financial contribution of $667,000 to support this initiative. This investment increases our national capacity and reinforces the systems that protect individuals who seek international protection within Belize. Belize, as you know, occupies a unique position within our region as the only English-speaking nation that is multicultural and diverse while never experiencing a war.
There's much more news after the break, so stay tuned.
Causing the increase in fuel prices in Belize and worldwide. The Iran war, of course.
Oil prices shot back up to over $100 a barrel as Iran focuses more of its attacks on fuel.
Over $100 per barrel is more than 67% increase from the $60 per barrel just 2 months ago. How much has gas price increased at the pump in Belize? By $1.23 per gallon, which is only by 10%. How does this compare to increases in the United States?
As Americans feel feel the pain at the pump. The national average for gas now $3.67, up 73 cents since the war began.
73 cents US would be $1.46 Belize. So the increase in Belize is 23 cents less or 15% less than the average increase in the US, which is 25%. The war is driving up fuel prices everywhere, including Belize. And as the numbers show, the increase is steeper in the US than Belize.
Electricity is essential for everyday life, but behind every outlet, a lot is happening to bring you safe, reliable, and sustainable energy. Let's start at the beginning. Independent power producers across Belize generate electricity using a mix of renewable and non-renewable resources. Electricity travels across a network of high-voltage transmission lines capable of transmitting electricity across long distances. Electricity then reaches your nearest substation, where it is adjusted to a lower voltage, making it safe to travel on the distribution lines you see in your community. From there, electricity makes its final journey from the distribution lines to your home, providing you with safe and reliable power when you need it. Belize Electricity Limited. We continue to serve you.
Cada conexión es más que solo una señal, es un estudiante abriendo las puertas a su futuro a través de la educación digital. Una mente joven atreviéndose a soñar en grande. Nuestra cultura compartida con el mundo en tiempo real. Y héroes cotidianos respondiendo al llamado del deber cívico. Cuando nos conectamos con Digi, empoderamos a Belice.
We're bringing you the conversations and stories shaping Belize. First, we look at enhancing tourism in Belize's protected areas, how new initiatives are helping protecting our natural treasures while strengthening the tourism industry. Then, we highlight investing in education through Path-like scholarships, meeting inspiring students who are turning opportunity into a brighter future. Plus, Belize Global Elite Academy raises coaching standards as we explore how a special coaches clinic is helping develop stronger athletes and leaders in sports. And we take a moment to recognize the people who dedicate their lives to helping others as we celebrate World Social Work Day and honor the impact of social workers in our communities. Start your morning right at 6:30 a.m. informed and inspired, only on Open Your Eyes.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, text, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio. 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
Belize is transforming the way taxes are managed with the Semi-Autonomous Revenue Authority, a modern system built on flexibility, efficiency, and accountability. SAR will have its own human resource policies, ensuring faster hiring, fairer opportunities, and competitive pay that rewards performance. The SARA will also manage its own budget, making it easier to fund what matters most: better technology, improved taxpayer services, and stronger enforcement when needed. With this flexibility comes responsibility. Independent audits, public reports, and parliamentary oversight will ensure full transparency. SARA's transparency, flexibility, and efficiency will ensure smarter decision-making, better taxpayer service, and responsible use of public funds. SARA, flexibility to serve you better, accountability to serve you right.
The future is calling. Belize Bank. Your future, our commitment.
Me, my data done, and I really need to get my order out today.
Really?
well. You can join our Smart Group plan.
Really? How that works?
Easy, let me tell you.
Whether it's family, friends, or your small business, we've got the perfect plan for every group. More members equals more savings, more connections. Smart Group plans bring the connectivity you love to you and your circle. No one gets left behind. Explore Share One package option and add on unlimited data, calls, and SMS for the entire group for less than $50 per member. Visit any Smart showroom countrywide or email sales@speednet-wireless.com to sign up today. Smart, bringing people together.
Tonight, we're looking at a Jaguar whose story refuses to fade. Henry, once tagged and released as a conflict animal, is back in the headlines after officers recaptured the big cat in Lemonal village. Forest officials say Henry had been preying on livestock, and now there's a new twist. A damaged canine tooth that may be pushing the Jaguar closer to human settlements. It raises tough questions about the future and the safety of community Henry keeps returning to. Acting Chief Forest Officer John Pinello joins us with the latest.
Henry was an animal that was captured in Hope Creek area. In fact, it was captured near Henry Station, which is why we call it Henry. Was giving some trouble down there, and we captured it and we relocated it to an area that has no communities or habitation. We colored it and we're tracking it from time to time to make sure we knew where it was going. When we found out that, and Jaguars travel, I think the report I read said they can walk up to 30 miles a day looking for food. They have wide ranges. And so it found its way up into the area of Lemonal. And that is when we got the complaints. We started communicating with the community. And that is how we ended up taking the cage up to try and catch the animal. We set the cage, I think, late last week. And that is when we captured the animal. And we have since moved it to our location where we can do an assessment of Henry. Preliminary report from the veterinarian is that it has a lot of BM screwworms, and one of its canine has recently been broken. All indications are that it will be difficult to re-release the animal, and so we will have to find alternative measures to try and keep the animal, which will more than likely be putting it in an institution such as the zoo.
Belize's Jaguar troubles aren't new, but the real worry is who's actually responding. The latest capture of Henry in Lemonal exposed a growing gap. The Belize Zoo, which used to handle conflict jaguars, has paused its program and nothing official has replaced it. That leaves villages caught in the middle. Farmers fear losing more livestock, conservationists warn more jaguars will be killed, and residents say they don't know who to call when a big cat shows up on their property. Tonight, we look at how this breakdown in wildlife response is putting both communities and jaguars at risk.
Conflict jaguars are back in the spotlight, and Henry is the latest example. The big cat was recaptured in Lemonal after once again targeting livestock. Wildlife officers know him well. He was first caught in 2025 and relocated to the Northeast Biological Corridor. His return shows just how stubborn and complicated Belize's jaguar problem remains.
No, this is not an exact science, and we cannot attempt to think what the jaguar will do. And it is studies, and that is why we keep adjusting and trying to make changes every time we have a situation. But in this case, the jaguar went back and started attacking livestock.
For rural families, conflict jaguars aren't an abstract issue. They threaten livestock and wander dangerously close to homes while hunting pets. That's why the Belize Zoo launched this human jaguar conflict program more than 20 years ago. The zoo's managing director says that before the program started, Belizeans were killing as many as 50 jaguars a year.
The founder of the zoo at that time, Sharon Matola, approached the government, the forest department. At that time, it was the conservation division, and offered what we called a band-aid conservation situation to this conflict. And we were able to, over the years, remove safely about 30 jaguars and give them a second chance of life.
For years, the Belize Zoo stepped in when conflict jaguars threatened communities, humanely trapping the cats and moving them to a special facility where they could be safely rehabilitated. And one of the best examples of that work is Edgar Hill. Edgar is an 18-year-old jaguar relocated from southern Belize back in 2013 after he repeatedly preyed on pets near family homes. He later lost an eye to glaucoma, but today he's thriving as an ambassador at the Belize Zoo, helping Belizeans understand the very real challenges facing both people and wildlife.
Since then, we have worked with Edgar to bring him out to the public, and he's now a Jaguar ambassador for species in the wild. Shorttail is another conflict cat from the same community where Edgar Hill came from. And he was trapped by the community, and we believe that during the process of trapping, he lost his tail, and hence the name Shorttail.
And then there is Ben, another 18-year-old jaguar that the capable staff at the Belize Zoo has been able to completely rehabilitate. When Ben first entered the facility, getting up close was nearly impossible. It has taken a lot of expertise and work to get Ben to a point where staff members can feed him at close distance and provide medication.
His canine were shot. He had bullet pellets all on his underbody, and he also has a limp, either got hit by a car or early arthritis. So Ben lives his final years here at the zoo in comfort, and we provide as much health care for him as we can.
Standing just inches from these jaguars, you can feel the quiet power they carry, muscle instinct, and intensity wrapped in silence. And these are only a handful of the many conflict jaguars the Belize Zoo has rescued and given a second chance at life. And the zoo's investment speaks for itself, from professionally trained staff, the heavily secured behavioral modification facilities, and an equipped animal clinic. The Belize Zoo has the necessary resources at its disposal. But today, the experts in jaguar conflict are facing a somewhat minor yet altering human conflict.
Unfortunately, we no longer do that. Back in August, our work with conflict cats was put on hold. And we are now waiting for an official MOU from the Forest Department for us to continue our work with these cats. It's very important. The zoo has invested heavily in working in the communities. We've invested heavily on the ground here to provide the best possible care for these cats.
So we asked Acting Chief Forest Officer John Pinello what is behind the directive.
We use the zoo for assistance. We sometimes use their clinic that they have there, and we sometimes ask for support from their vet tech that they have there. The Belize Zoo, in fact, I had a conversation this morning with the director of the Belize Zoo, and I told him that his expertise and their help is always needed, but it needs to be done in a holistic manner with the other agencies that we're working with.
The Forest Department currently has a formal Memorandum of Understanding with Corozal Sustainable Future Initiative to capture jaguars, but no MOU currently exists with the Belize Zoo's 2-decade conflict jaguar program. Reporting for News 5, I am Paul Lopez.
After the break, Shane Williams has your weekend sports wrap-up.
Putting up the gyms to see exciting NEBL games. And this weekend weekend Week 5 showcase. 3 mega matchups. On Friday night, the Belize City Defenders try to keep the Corozal Spartans winless with a must-win game to stay in the hunt for the 70K at the Belize Civic Center. Then on Saturday night, another mega showdown at the Belize Civic Center as the number 2 team, the Fighting Tiger Sharks, goes up against the rough and tough Dangriga Dream Ballers in a war. And in Cayo at the Victor Galvez Stadium, who run the West as the rolling Cayo Western Ballers goes up against the Belmopan Trojans. The NEBL Girls giveaways along with the National Sports Council halftime $5,000 shooting challenge. So this weekend, make it another NEBL weekend, sponsored by the Government of Belize.
Good evening, Belize and Ballers and supporters at home and abroad. This week, runners take the streets of Belize City for Reef Week. The NEBL heats up for Week 4 in the districts, and inter-office softball takes off in Sand Hill Village. I'm Shane Williams with this another exciting edition of Sports Monday. More than 100 runners, joggers and fast walkers hit the streets of Belize City early Saturday morning for the annual Run for the Reef, held as part of activities marking Reef Week. First to take off from the starting line were the competitive runners ran 8-mile road race along Marine Parade, Princess Margaret Drive, past the Marian Jones Sporting Complex, through West Landiver and out toward the Philip Golson Highway before looping back to the Memorial Park at the finish line. In the men's category, Oliver Sinclair from Canada captured first place by outsprinting Belmopan's Christopher Braster, both crossing the line in 52 minutes and 53 seconds. While Omar Pulido of San Ignacio rounded out the podium in 53 minutes and 43 seconds. On the women's side, Sartaneja's Crystal Thomas led the field with a time of 1 hour and 3 minutes. BDF's Alberta Coe finished 6 minutes later to secure second place, while San Ignacio's Jane Champion finished in 1 hour and 17 minutes to take the third place medal. The event also featured a 2-mile run and walk challenge, giving recreational runners and families a chance to take part in the Reef Week celebration and show support for reef conservation efforts, with participants leaving from Memorial Park to the Princess Hotel and back. Proceeds from the event support Reef Week activities and raise awareness about protecting the Belize Barrier Reef. In the National Elite Basketball League, 3 games were played over the weekend with tight contests across the country. On Friday night, the Orange Walk Running Rebels edged Belmopan Trojans in a high-scoring matchup, 103-100. For Orange Walk, Kenneth Perkins Jr. led the offense with 28 points. The Trojans were paced by Brian Hudson, who poured in 26 points. On Saturday night, the Kaya Western Ballers took on the Easy Investments Griga Dream Ballers, with the Ballers coming away with the win 86-74. Soren Smith led Kaya with 24 points. Kareem Maka Flowers finished with 22 points for the Dream Ballers. And in the weekend's final matchup, the San Pedro Tiger Sharks defeated the Corozal Spartans 87-77. Devon Moody led the Tiger Sharks with 25 points, while Corozal was led by Alex Carcamo with 23 points. From the court, we head to the Diamond for some softball action as the Sand Hill Field hosted 9 games this weekend. In the BL Power Sockets versus the Maritime Enforcers game, the rout started from early with BL shortstop leading off the game with this no-doubt home run. The Power Sockets continued to pour on the scoring on Enforcers pitcher Justin Gillett, while the defense played solid behind Denise Gillett to win the game by mercy rule after 5 innings with a score of 10-1. In other games this weekend, top seed HRCU BCC Eagles defeated the Police Stats Enforcers by a score of 14-9. The winning pitcher was Kaya Catus and the losing pitcher was Nersa Ramirez. Bowen and Bowen Brewers defeated Belize Bank Bulldogs in the most hotly contested matchup of the weekend, 8-7. The winning pitcher was Sean Renner and the losing pitcher was Evita Marin. And in an open co-ed league game, Biscayne Tropical Breeze defeated Tiger Tongue Rednecks 15-8. The winning pitcher was Janet Call and the losing pitcher was Jada Morales. And that does it for this week's Sporting Highlights. I'm Shane Williams, as always, reminding you that sporting unites and balling is life. So, keep balling, Belize.
And before we leave you, here's tonight's viewer's voice. On our first story, 3-year-old wanders from home found drowned a mile away. Violet Chiak commented, "But as not even one person saw this baby wandering on the road." On the topic, Belize prepares bid to bring Joseph Budna home, Margaret Wade shared, "It would be a good thing so his family can visit him at Hattieville as long as he serves his time." And finally, police make urgent public plea for wandering children, Moses Self shared, "We are lacking of community spirit and there are a number of contributing factors. I just hope we can now pay attention to these kinds of situations when we see children alone." I agree. Thank you for engaging with us online. Your voices shape the national conversation. Keep those comments coming and we'll continue to feature them right here. And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at greaterbelize.com, on our Facebook and on YouTube. Don't forget, Sabrina's Across Borders premieres tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Please check it out. I'm Jamie Rock. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.